We're going to get started. And I will continue to let people in and meet you if you can as well. But for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Natalie Rouse. I am a lifetime double diamond with It Works Global. I joined this business 7 years ago when my best friend and enroller, Meech Gonzalez, had hit the rank of diamond. She started doing this, making a full-time income while working her full-time job and raising 3 kids, husband, all the things. I remember thinking, well, if she could do all that, hopefully I can make like an extra $100 to $200 a month. That's literally all I saw for myself. And this business fully transformed my life. I now do this full time from home and I absolutely love it. And it's been an amazing, amazing opportunity. And I know we have some bonuses out, but I am super excited just to tell you guys these Monday motivations have been great. And we've had so many incredible leaders come on and share with us just their hearts and how they run this business. And my good friend Kaitlyn is on with us tonight, you guys. And I'm really, really excited. If you guys haven't been on her 6 a.m. power hours, they are amazing. I know Becky's been on them, Meech has been on them. We like to jump on those. And she has an incredible It Works testimony. So I asked for her to come on and just pour into us and share with us her story and how she got started in It Works. And then she's going to share some tips and how she works her business as well. But Kaitlyn, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and share, we would love to hear from you.
Oh, well, I love the hype about the power hours. Yeah, I love hosting the morning power hours, but a little bit about me. I'm Kaitlyn. I actually just recently got married. Well, hard to believe it was 6 months ago in March. And so I'm a triple diamond with It Works. I've been in for 6.5 years. But when I actually came across this business, I met my enroller on Facebook. And so she actually reached out to me and offered the business to me. We randomly connected on Facebook. I saw she lived in the Charlotte area. I live in North Carolina. And so I guess that's probably why I accepted her friend request, because I was like, oh, maybe somehow like we crossed paths in our history. And so I constantly saw her posting about working from home and everything. And honestly, I didn't think much of it until she built a relationship with me. And one day she randomly just offered the business to me. She was like, hey, I see you're on social media all the time. Could you by chance use the extra income? And that question literally changed my life. But I will say, of course, I did not join the first time she offered it to me. She followed up with me for months and months and months because I was actually at a point in my life where I was a workaholic. So put a 1 in the chat if you are like super busy or you worked all the time. I actually was working 3, sometimes 4 jobs when I came across this business. So I was busy. Okay, so I worked 6 to 7 days a week, never saw my family, never saw my friends. I was in a relationship at the time. And so I was also in children's ministry at my church. So your girl was busy, but at the same time, I was still broke. I tried college, it just wasn't my thing. And I really didn't know what my life purpose was. I knew that God had big things in store for me, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So I tried college, dropped out of it because honestly, I couldn't afford it. And when this business came into my life, I thank God my enroller followed up with me multiple times because it wasn't, she always makes fun of me because she's always like, Kaitlyn, you always left me on red. But it wasn't because I wasn't interested. It was because I was simply busy and I would sometimes forget to respond in between my jobs. And so I thank God she followed up with me. So if you're not following up with your people, make sure you follow up with them because you could be missing out on a Kaitlyn that really needs this. So anyways, I finally decided to jump in. It was in February 3rd, 2016. And honestly, I didn't really have the extra money to join, but I did it anyway because she told me I could make my money back right away just selling the stuff that it came in. So I was like, you know what, risk free. I'm just going to jump in, go for it. It took me 4 months to go Ruby. And then I kind of like just sat there for 2 years. Within going Ruby, I was able to cut back on a couple of my hours, cut back on one of my jobs. So I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I'm making some extra income. But after a couple of years, I just kind of, I don't know. We didn't have a very strong upline. So like my uplines were still pretty new. So we still really didn't know what we were doing. So we didn't have much of an upline. But after a couple of years, I started seeing my upline, my enroller starting to promote to like diamond and double diamond. And I'm like, okay, hold up, what's going on? And I just remember my enroller constantly telling me go to conference. So I went to conference. I actually went to conference in 2017. And then I also went in 2018. Now I will say in 2017, I went to conference and then I didn't apply anything that I learned. So I stayed where I was. 2018 came around and I went all in. I was really, really tight with money at that point. And at that time I was actually dating my high school boyfriend. We were talking about marriage. And so this was like, obviously like marriage talk and being broke, like this ain't going to cut it. Like my parents aren't going to be able to pay for our wedding. My parents are teachers. They work 2 jobs themselves each. So what am I going to do to pay for a wedding? So that's when I went to conference and I had such a strong why. And so I was paid as a distributor. And then within, I think it was August, we went diamond. I got engaged that year. And then, so like the whole wedding planning process started to happen. And then I went to conference again in 2019. And then 6 days after conference, my fiance at the time called it off. He sent me a text message while I was at work at like 8 p.m. at night. I was the only one working, so I couldn't even leave work. And I was at Massage Envy at the time, and we had guests coming in that night, like in 30 minutes. And you guys, I had to literally like try to hold myself together because I was the only person up front, and I was like and like I'm honestly shaking even just remembering it because it was a really hard time in my life. Like I was with the guy for 7 years. So, just imagine being with somebody for so long, and I had spent thousands of dollars on a wedding. I thought that was going to happen, and he just pulled that out from the rug under me. But honestly, it was God's biggest blessing because later that year, I ended up meeting my now husband, and he is literally like the most incredible human on earth. But in that moment, it was scary. I mean, I had just promoted to double, and I was like, what am I going to do? Like, this was my why. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then in that moment, I'll never forget, he called it off on March 6th. And I was like, so angry, frustrated, all the confusions, like, God, how can you even make me go through this? Like, how can I go through this? Like, nobody expects to go through a broken engagement. But what I will say, though, I took 1 day off of my business, 1 day. I had a little pity party. I was angry. I was upset. I had a girls' night out. I was like just letting out all my anger. That same month was my highest DT enrollment. I signed 17 distributors that month. I used that anger and fire towards my business because I was like, you know what? Screw you. I'm going to just let this business change my life. And so a lot of the times when people have life happen, they allow that to be an excuse. But for me, that was not an option for myself. I used that as fire, and I had no distractions. So I ended up rolling like 17 distributors that month. I was announced as the top distributor enroller out of the entire company. Like I was one of the top 10, I think, of that month, which was so like, I was not expecting that. And so during this time, within a couple months later, I ended up deciding, you know what, peace out. I'm leaving my job. I'm making enough money. So I quit. I've been home full time since April of 2019. Best decision ever. So I don't have to clock into a corporate job anymore. And then a couple months later, I ended up actually purchasing my dream car at 24, no cosigner. Like my Genesis Coupe, she's my freaking baby. I call her Jenny, the Genesis Coupe. She's so freaking cute. She's my favorite car ever. And I wanted that car for so long, but I never could get my dream car because I was always a nanny. I was working at multiple jobs. To have some kind of sedan, right? To like carry around kids. So I never got to have my dream car until I went 24. So that was really exciting. And then during this time, obviously we were pushing towards triple diamond because I'm like, heck yeah, like our team's on fire. We just went double diamond, like business is going good. But transitioning from going full-time, working full-time, and then coming home full-time, I did not work my business as intentionally because when you work full-time and you work, it works, like I only had bits and pieces I could work my business. And so when I came home full time, I kind of put my business on the back burner. I was still working it, but not as intentionally. And so long story short, my business started to suffer towards the end of that year. So I was a really strong double diamond. Like we were 3,000 away from triple diamond. Like we were right there, which is basically like 50 volume away from Ruby, like one order away from Ruby. That's how close we were to triple diamond. And so of course, like everything started going downhill. And by the end of that year, I ended up being paid as a freaking Ruby, going from double diamond, like really good double diamond, almost triple pay down to Ruby. And this was my full-time job. Like, what was I supposed to do? And so I had paid off all my debt at that time. life was good when I was double, but then when I hit rock bottom, I had to like have a realization. Christmas was sucking. I was like, what did I do? And I had to realize, like, I had to give myself grace in the moment because I just didn't know how to work this business intentionally, being home full time. But at the same time, it was a learning process. And so in that moment, I had to realize, like, Kaitlyn, if you don't just go all in with your business and get back diamond and double, then you're going to have to go get a job again. And I told myself that is not an option. I worked so hard to come home full time. Why would I just let that slip through the cracks? And so I put my head down. I put my blinders on, and I kid you guys not, I was paid as a Ruby in December. I was paid as a Ruby in January, got back diamond in February, was paid as diamond in March. I was almost at double, and then we went triple diamond in April. So in 4 months, went from a Ruby paycheck to triple diamond, which is freaking crazy. Okay. So like I saw like my almost like first like 5-figure paycheck, like income disclosure, but like it was insane. But like during that time, I was not looking left and right. I just had my clear blinders on. I knew what I wanted, and I did not want to go back to my old life. And so I know this is a really long version of my story, but I want you guys to understand, like, and I want you guys to know now, like, we're still working towards getting back to triple diamond. Like I have lost triple, but my team is so freaking strong right now. We're still crushing it, making a full-time income with this. And now this past year, so obviously back in 2019, during that time, the end of that year, my relationship with the Lord grew a lot, and I trusted him more. And finally my husband came when I least expected it. And when me and him started talking is when I actually went triple. So like I was going through a whole transition of like new dating, being in a relationship, and like I had to have that clear communication with him, like when this was all going on. So like a lot of life has happened, especially like with COVID. Like I went through a bunch of anxiety, like a lot of life happened. But within the last year, we got married in March. We had our dream wedding. And we were able to pay for that and not have to stress about anything. We had it exactly how we wanted, which I'm so grateful for. And now I moved out into my own apartment a year ago. And then, of course, we got married in March. And now bigger things are coming because we're planning on buying our first home next year. And probably moving to Tennessee within the next 1 to 2 years. That's like a dream of mine. And so life is just really good. My husband's so supportive of this, and business is just, I'm excited about these re-rank and promotional bonuses because so much is changing, and I'm excited for conference to be back in person. So
I love all of it. Oh my gosh. So I love that you share all the nitty-gritty details of the life that happens, right? Because it's like we have this idea that life stops happening when this business starts. And the truth is that we go through life too while this business is going on. Like it's like how we work around and through life and disappointments and the ups and downs of business, which is the ups and downs in any business. You know what I mean? But I too am so excited about the re-rank, the match it, the success bonuses. Like they have, and then the first time rank bonuses, like it's insane right now. And I know I joined the business in 2015, like a year before you. And so I can honestly say, I don't remember a time where they had this many bonuses all at the same time. I'm like, this is huge. So it's exciting. And same here. It's like when you're used to going to a conference and then we didn't have it for 2 years, like in person, we tried to make the best of it, but there's nothing like being there in person. And so I know many of us, if not all of us, already got our conference tickets. But we're so excited to be there. So, okay. So moving forward, and so I know more people are actually jumping on, but that's fine. Moving forward. So how do you work your business? Because I know that like you said, you're very intentional. You've created a system that works. Yeah. And I've stolen like a lot of the messages for like messaging your stories and just doing host posts and doing reels and TikToks. And we're kind of doing all the things, but how do you intentionally work your business every single day? And what are your main tasks that you feel like you have to get done every single day to grow your business?
Yeah. So I feel like a huge thing is, and the thing is like, I do everything. So I do TikToks, I do reels. I don't just rely on videos. I'm getting back into being super, super consistent on TikTok because I know like when I was like crazy consistent, that's when my like Instagram following like skyrocketed and I brought in like so many enrollments. So like I'm super excited to get back into like very consistent on TikToks and reels. But honestly, I do everything. So I post on my reels, I post on TikToks, I post on my stories, I message people that view my stories, I message people that like my posts. And this is something I actually did like back in the day. Like you guys, I want you to understand, like put a 1 in the chat if you've been in the business since before host to post was a thing. Put a 2 if you've only been here since you know about host post. Because I want you guys to know, like I promoted to Ruby with no host to post. Okay. We didn't have host post my first 2 years in the business. So, you know, it's so crazy now that we have like host post, and host post is like a non-negotiable because host post is what took me diamond, double, and triple diamond. Because even going all those ranks, we didn't have TikTok. We didn't have Instagram stories, you guys. We didn't even have that. We didn't have Facebook Live. We had nothing. We literally had nothing. But I will say, like, my non-negotiables are you have to post daily on your platforms, every single platform, because if you're not posting, people don't know what you're doing. Same thing with like a store. If a store doesn't unlock their doors, then how are they even open and allowing people to go in and like purchase things, you know? And so just making sure that you are posting every single day and posting in your stories. And I feel like sometimes stories is really undervalued. You guys, one of my DTs I just signed came from Instagram stories. I was just posting about my story over and over again, and she responded to one of my polls and she ended up joining within like 24 hours. It was just like the coolest thing. And the thing is too about your stories is you want to make sure that you're posting a lot about your life. And we talk about this on our personal team calls all the time, but make sure like 75-80% of it is your life. Post things you're doing throughout your day. Don't let every single story slide be products and business, because I used to do that and it doesn't get you results. People don't want to see a sales ad like when they go to your page. Same thing on Facebook, you guys. My Facebook posts were really, really bad. Like back in the day, like they were horrible. I was just like, buy me, you know, try this. Like, no, you want to have some kind of emotional attachment. And I know for myself, like something I have, I don't know if anybody else has this, but I have ADHD. So I get distracted very easily. I can't stay focused for more than like 5 seconds. And like, it's a miracle that I'm staying focused right now. I'm just kidding. But like, you know what I mean? Like our coffee has been game changer for me, cold brew. So that's something I talk about in my stories is, you know, like I'm so thankful for this coffee to help me with my mental clarity and focus, especially with having ADHD. I get so distracted and so sidetracked, especially with working from home. So I constantly will talk about that, or I'll talk about like the way it's helping me. And especially like when I used to work full time, I would talk about how the greens helped me with my energy in between my jobs, because I would try and take power naps in between my jobs because I was so tired. So I would talk about what things are doing for me, but also a big tip as well too with like business. Like, I don't know if anybody struggles with signing distributors, but something that really helped me, especially when I shifted from like signing very little to mass enrolling, because I average 10 plus every single month. And it's because I'm constantly speaking out my goals. And I know I need to get even better about this now, but especially when I was going diamond, double, triple, I always put it out there what my next goal was. So if you're not taking your followers on a journey of where you're going, then why would they follow you? So you want to inspire people, take them on your journey. And it doesn't matter if you've made literally $0 in this business or you've made $10,000. It doesn't matter. Let people know where you're going. And so when I was going like diamond, for instance, I constantly would talk about how, you know, like I hate being broke and I hate barely being able to put $5 in my bank account for gas, you know, swiping $5. And so, you know, I'm so excited to start making this extra income from social media. And, you know, within the next like 60 days, I'm going diamond, and this extra income is going to allow me to do XYZ. And so when I went diamond, like I would talk about being able to open up a savings account. And so when I actually went diamond and shared like, oh my gosh, like we hit this rank, like I'm able to actually do this, that's when people are flooding to me, because they're like, oh, that girl, like she's speaking goals, but she's actually achieving them and she's taking people with them. And so another thing too is like, do call to actions in your posts as well. So something else I did a lot with posting is I would say, you know, I know what it's like to struggle. So that's why I know it's like to struggle. I've lived in the negatives before for an entire week, which I have, which is so embarrassing to say, but at the same time, people relate to that. And so I'll put that in my post sometimes and say, like, I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to live in the negatives. And that's why I've decided to open up 5 positions or 5, whatever amount of people that you need on your team. to help these people make this extra income so that way they don't have to stress no longer. So that way I'm letting people know I want to help more people. And then when you also post about it in your stories, which again, I haven't done this recently, but this has helped really good in the past, which I'm going to start doing, is every time you sign a distributor, put it in your stories, which I do share that, but I used to always have like their photo in my stories. And I would say, you know, like, welcome Tamara to the team. She's a teen mom and I'm so excited to help her make this extra income for her and her babies. I'll never forget, there was a girl that was 18 that joined and I talked about her and literally I had like 3 girls private message me. Oh, I'm 18 too. Like I could use this extra income. It's just so crazy how like also sharing other people's stories too about I get to help this person make this extra income. Like you can have this too. That call to action and constantly sharing like your community of everything. But another thing too is I reach out a lot. I reach out all the time for customers. I reach out all the time for distributors. So of course, like your immediate market should be people that are liking your reels. You guys message people that like your reels. A lot of the times I feel like people don't do that. Do that. I've signed so many people from that, even if it's not a distributor one. Message people, even if it's like a lifestyle one. You can just say, hey, you know, thank you so much for, I've seen you've been liking a few of my reels lately. I'm just curious, you know, like, could you by chance use an extra income? I'm actually looking to help a couple people make an extra income from social media. So simple. Like, do not overcomplicate anything. And the other thing too is like, I actually have a power hour chat as well on Telegram. So I don't know if you guys are all in there. Literally, I share every single message in there that we do on power hour. So my non-negotiables though, like for sure is messaging for host post. I make sure it's my goal to get new potential LCs and new PDTs every day. If you're not gaining new potentials every day, then what are you doing? You're not doing your job, but also making sure that you're following up with your people as well. Cause I'll be honest, for the longest time, I was horrible at follow-ups, but I had to realize like my enroller followed up with me. Like imagine if my enroller never followed up with me, I wouldn't even be here, which is honestly like really scary to even think about because I would have never reached out. And I always thought posting was asking, but it's not. Like that was me in the beginning. I thought, oh, I posted, you know, like people are just going to come to me. No, that's not how it works. Some people might do that, but I never would have messaged my enroller. So just remember, like, reach out. Like, she just built a relationship with me and then randomly offered me the business. And here we are today, you know? And so I know I'm like throwing a lot of things out there, but honestly, I just do everything. I go down my friends list. I'll message for host posts. I'll send out product customer messages, seeing if people want to be product testers. You guys message. This is another thing. Message your Facebook followers. I signed an LC on the spot from that. And she ordered a month's supply of coffee. She also ordered 2 bottles of gummies, which is basically what I use to lose 18 pounds. And so also be a product of the product. If you're not sharing people your own journey, and it's okay if you don't need to lose weight, use a skincare products, use something else. You guys, the hair growth supplement, are you kidding me? It's amazing. Like my hair grew like 2 inches in like a month from it. It's so crazy. Like, so just making sure you're taking people on that journey too. And especially when I was on my weight loss journey and I also did the 75 hard challenge, I shared that all the time on my stories, you know, like, oh, I just did my 2-day cleanse. I'm down 2 more pounds, you know, sharing those little progress. And like, you could do like weekly progress, sharing your updates, but you get what I'm saying? Like take people on that journey of you using the products, because for the longest time, I didn't have the best results with the products. And I constantly would see so many other girls on our team having like signing so many people and they're like, it's personal results, it's personal results, it's personal results. And I'm like, well, I don't have good results. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start. I'm just going to start and I'm going to take people on that journey. And along the journey, I signed so many people and I had incredible results within just like 2.5 weeks. And I was just signing people. I would put it on my stories. I'd be making my coffee, just like so excited. And I would have like my before and after on it. He would be like, wait, what is this coffee? But also you want to leave curiosity too. You don't want to just throw it out there. I'm in it works. This is what I do. Like you want to create curiosity. You want to be proud of what you're selling. But at the same time, like there's some people that like, if they just see it works, they're just kind of like, okay, I don't really know what that is. Or they might be like, they might want to do their own research, you know? So you want to keep that curiosity as well. And another really big tip too, with like distributors, get people in front of an opportunity video. that works it for me. And I'll never forget, for the longest time I said opportunity videos don't work for me because I was signing DTs without it. But my enroller kept saying, Kaitlyn, I sent you an opportunity video. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you did. Oh my gosh, you did. Like, it wasn't of her. It was like of an ambassador, because I think my enroller was like a Ruby at the time when I joined, but she sent me an opportunity video. And I'm like, why did I think that for so long? And it was a mindset thing too. So making sure that you are pouring into yourself every single day and doing affirmations about yourself. I mean, a non-negotiable for me, especially when I used to work literally an hour away from home, I would just listen to like motivational videos. We didn't have Audible back then, but I would listen to different things like on YouTube and stuff like that. Every spare moment that I had, or when I shower, just because you have to constantly grow your mind. And I want you guys to know too, like, I struggle with anxiety. I struggle with, some days where I don't want to do the things, but consistency is key. Just making sure you're doing things every single day. It's a non-negotiable. And for me, it's not like, if I don't work my business, my bills don't get paid. So I know that was like a lot, but I basically do everything.
No, that was so good. And I love how you even said that, like, who has been here before Host the Post? Because I know I have, and I know Michi has, and quite a few of us have. And don't get me wrong, yeah, Host the Post got me to double, but it didn't get me to diamond. You're right. And I remember we used to have like these Facebook parties, but anyways, but it's always changing, like it's always changing. And it seems like the cold messaging is coming back almost like
I
warm
love cold messaging. And it's not even really cold messaging, because it's like, if they're already your follower or they're already your Facebook friend, like, it's a warm message.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't know. I love how you said that, like, posting is not asking.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so easy to like post and think like, well, people see it, they know what we do. But if we're not actually asking, sometimes you will even get, I feel like, offended. Like, how come you haven't asked me to do this business?
Yeah.
Like, do you not think I could do this business? So I absolutely. And I remember, I think it was Pam Souter said, like, make an ask out of yourself, or somebody used to say that, like, make an ask out of yourself. And that's it. All we're doing is asking. And if somebody gets offended by that, that's pretty silly, because it's just a question. But if we don't ask, the answer will always be no, and we don't know what we don't know. If Meech wouldn't have asked me, and she asked me, I think 3 or 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
And it took a year of me watching. And then when I needed it, that's when I was like, okay, I want to do this, because I needed it in that time. So we don't know what people's timelines are, but like, it's like, okay, wait a minute, I do want this. Or maybe, like you said, we're just busy. And I love how you said that too, because you left your enroller on red. Mm-hmm. And how often do we take that as, oh, nope, they're not interested. They're not interested. I'm annoying them. But that's not the case. People are just busy, So I love that. And busy people make the best distributors. So those people that are leaving you on red are going to be the best ones, I love that. So many good things. I'm literally writing down notes. Okay. So last thing, I know that conference is coming up and these bonuses are coming up.
Yeah.
What would you say? What like advice would you give over these next 90 days? Because all of us are on a 90-day run right now to diamond, to double diamond, to triple diamond. And so what would you say, to that person that's on the 90-day run and getting prepared for conference? Because I feel like the fact that they're having this before conference and it's going to be December and then it's conference is like, they're setting us up for success, is what I'm feeling. But yeah, what would you say, or what would be your advice, and how excited are you for that?
Okay, so I'm really excited. So really quick, do we have anybody on here that's not a green like me? Or maybe put green in the chat, okay? You guys, I'm just gonna be honest. You got to get organized, and your girl is literally like 2% green. Okay, so this is something that I have always struggled with in my business, is not being organized. Now, put a 1 in the chat if you have been on Heather's Power Hours at 12 p.m. Eastern. Okay, that has been a complete game freaking changer for myself. I literally, you guys, I'm not even exaggerating. You want to see how many names I wrote down today? I have an entire list of people I wrote down today, and I'm already on like the back. You guys, literally, I'm writing down every single person, because whenever we have promotions, I normally like I'll be honest, I built all the way to triple diamond, not being super organized. And I'm not saying that's like a good or a bad thing, but imagine if I was more on top of it like this. I know I'd probably be ambassador by now because my lack of organization. Make sure you have your charts out and you know exactly what you need. You need to get very clear on what your goals are. Something that I really highly suggest every single person to do is get very crystal clear on the type of people you want on your team. Honestly, put in the chat, what kind of person do you want on your team? Do you want somebody that's lazy? Or do you want somebody that's hardworking? They're coachable. They follow the training. They complete their 4-in-1 within 1 to 2 weeks. They are self-sufficient. They're constantly asking for help. They're constantly asking for questions. What kind of dream clients do you want? What kind of customers do you want? Do you want a customer that signs up and they're like, I don't like these products? Or do you want a customer that's so excited about the products, they're using them correctly, they're drinking lots of water, they're sending you updates, they're sending you referrals, they're constantly posting about it? You guys, what I do every time, well, I do this a lot, but journal about it. Make a list of, this is my dream team. This is my dream distributor. This is my dream client. And that's what you should be expecting when you're talking to potentials. Because I know for myself, my first 2 years in the business, we're probably all guilty of this. We just want to sign everyone, right? Like, I want to just sign everyone, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, like, I was attracting a lot of the wrong people. And just know too, people are going to quit. Okay. Just accept the fact people are going to quit. When I went triple diamond, I lost an entire diamond leg. Okay. When I mean, pretty much almost every single rank I've done, I've lost people, but I am super grateful. And I will 100% say that majority of my leaders that are on my team right now, they have been with me since 2019 or 2020. And you want to know why? I hardcore prayed over my dream team then. And that was the time that we went from Ruby to triple. That's when I got super intentional over praying over my business. I got so crystal clear on what are my goals. What do I want in the next 30 days? What do I want in the next 60, 90, a year from now? I got very crystal clear on what I wanted. Like, I was so hungry. I was just like, I got to do this. Like, I need this so bad. And so I had my chart in front of me every single day. I knew exactly how much volume. I knew exactly how many distributors were on my team. And I made it my responsibility. And now with the new 4-in-1 system, you guys, just make sure you're teaching your team what to do. And expect your team to enroll, because for the longest time, I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but it's like, I just feel like I do everything, right? And I know when I went diamond, I did majority of it myself. Like, I have like 2 other girls on my team that were enrolling, but I did 90% of the work. And back then you needed 24 distributors to go diamond. Okay. So the fact that that's cut in half, you only need 14. You guys, you can get that done in 90 days or less. I did it when we needed 24. I did that in like 90, I think it was like 3 to 4 months. I went diamond when I like decided to go all in, but I also was self-sufficient too. So I was going on YouTube. How do I sign 20 distributors in a month? How do I sign distributors? How do I sign lots of customers? I didn't wait on my enroller. I did it myself because I needed this so desperately to work. I had to choose to do those things every day. And with working multiple jobs, it was hard. It was hard. I had to wake up earlier. I hopped on every single power hour and honestly do all the things that are on power hours. Hop on every single power hour you can. Literally, I'm kid you not, that's what held me accountable. And for the longest time too, that's why I actually started hosting power hours Monday through Friday. Now I have a couple other leaders help me, but that held me accountable, because if I'm not showing up, then how can I expect my team to do the same thing? So just make sure the number one thing is get crystal clear on the type of team you want. And another thing for myself is I want people who want to grow their faith. And guess what? A lot of my distributors I've been signing, they want to grow their faith. And it's just so incredible to find people that are like-minded, because again, when I first started, I just wanted to sign anyone and everyone, and they weren't all my cup of tea. I butted heads with a lot of them, and nobody is here today that was in my first 2 years. Nobody. My first distributor that was in, she was one of my diamonds, and we had a really close net, but then she left. It doesn't matter. I had to learn in that moment, what it is, but she was also super negative. She was bringing negativity to the team. So it was pray people in, but also pray people out. And I know that's really scary, but honestly, ask God to bring you your dream team, to help you bring your dream clients. And another thing I didn't really talk about, but when we were going triple diamond, I literally, you guys, we were so far away. I was paid as a diamond the month before. Okay. And so we had 20,000 group volume. And then in the month of April 2020 or 2019, we had over 40, I think it was 41,000. So we literally doubled our volume in 1 month. And the reason that happened was because a lot of faith. I had a lot of faith, and that whole month, I just knew it was going to happen. To be honest, my upline, I think she was kind of hesitant about me achieving it. Like, she was going ambassador and she only needed 1 triple diamond, and me and another girl were going after triple, and she was a lot closer than me. We both ended up hitting it that month, but I had to have that strong faith and confidence within myself. I was like, God, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I know you're going to meet me halfway. And even when it gets close to the end of the finish line, that second to last day of the month, everything went wrong. Things are going to go wrong. We lost power. I remember it being like 10, maybe like 11 o'clock in the morning. My phone was at like 10% because I had been working all morning. My computer was at like 7%. The house alarm went off. Like, we lost power. My dogs were going insane. I was like, okay, well, how am I supposed to work my business if I have no power? I have no phone. I have no computer, and it's a madhouse. Thank God I think it was a Saturday, because I called my boyfriend, my husband now. I called him and I said, hey, I need to come over. Like, can I come over? I went over to his house. I signed 11 customers that day. God literally brought me people I hadn't talked to in years. That's the importance of consistency. Is I didn't know where these customers were coming from, but literally I was just doing my things like as if the work was up to me, but God was in the in-between. So just know, like, God will always bless your work, and it might not go exactly how you want it to, because we were so far away, you guys, like 6,000-7,000 away within the last couple of days. It was freaking scary. But you guys, 11 LCs out of nowhere. People I literally hadn't talked to in 2 or 3 years were randomly messaging me. Hey, what's this coffee you've been drinking? What's this? What's that? And I'm like, that's God. So just know, whether you're religious or not, just know God loves you and he wants to just have a prosperous business for you. A lot can change in 90 days. I'm telling you, when you put your head down, just do all the things. Hop on the power hours. Do the messages even when you don't want to, okay? And another last tip I just want to say is I did 75 hard the 73rd day. And if y'all know 75 hard, that's 75 days straight of 2 45-minute workouts, okay? One of them has to be outside. You drink a gallon of water. You have to eat super clean, no cheat meals, no alcohol, all the things. Day 73, your girl had a migraine all day long. I was like, I did not get this far in this freaking challenge to just not do my workouts. You guys, I kid you not, both of those workouts, I cried the entire workout. I was like, this is hell, literally. Like, but you see what I'm saying? I was committed to my goals. And the reason I share that is because, do you really think I wanted to do 2 45-minute workouts with a migraine? No, I couldn't do jumping jacks. My head was literally like pounding, throbbing. It was the worst. Oh my gosh. It was the worst migraine I've ever had in my entire life. Why did it happen? I have no idea, but obviously it's a part of my story now, because I'm like, I pushed through it and I realized that I'm capable of more than I think I am. So just remember, like, you're more capable of more things than you really think you are. And for the longest time, I told myself, I don't know how to sign distributors. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. You have to be a student. You have to just learn. You have to adapt. Like Natalie said, you have to adapt to new things. And like TikTok, I put it off for the longest time. But it's getting other people results. Why won't I do it myself? You got to get out of your comfort zone. And you guys, I just want you to know, I was not confident 6.5 years ago. You would have never caught me dead on a Zoom talking. You would have never caught me dead on a Facebook Live. You never would have caught me talking on my stories. None of that. I used to go live on Facebook all the time and singing worship music, because that's something that's really dear to my heart. But back in the day, never would have done it. And if you actually look up 2017 conference, Pam Souter and I think it was Mike Patillo at the time, they basically asked us to raise our hands, and they said, raise your hand if it took everything out of you to get to conference. And I literally was so dead broke. I had just lost my job at the time, and I had just started my new job like one weekend, but I was like dead broke. I maxed out my credit card to go. So no excuse not to go to conference, you guys. I kid you not. I literally slept on the floor in a hotel room, didn't have the money to have my own hotel room. I literally ate PB&J while everybody else went out to restaurants. I didn't have the money. I was broke. And they asked us to raise our hands if it took everything out of us to get to that event. Me and two other girls, they're no longer in the business, but at the time, we all raised our hands and were bawling because it took everything out of us to get to that event. And if any of you guys were at conference, you probably remember this moment. That was me. That was Kaitlyn. And Pam had us talk and share why we were crying. You guys, I stumbled over my words. I could not even get out a solid sentence without stumbling. That was Kaitlyn, okay? That was me. That was the girl that was struggling so freaking bad, that needed this so bad. And I kid you not, like after a conference, there was a girl, I don't remember who it was, but there was one or two girls that came up to me and the other girls and gave us some cash. And that was when I realized, like, and it wasn't much, but it was just like, that's when I realized, like, I'm in the right place. This company cares so much about us. They're loving. They want us to grow our faith. They care about us and they want more for us. And they kept having so much belief. They're like, we know you're going to go diamond. We know you're going to go diamond. And it happened like a year and a half later, but God is just so good, you guys. And I just want you to understand, like, you can do anything that you set your mind to. Don't underestimate that. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. That's my favorite verse. Just remember, you're not in this alone. God's got your back. So I think that's it.
That was beautiful. That was so beautiful. And I was definitely there. And I remember Pam Souter going into the audience and I was like, she's really interviewing people. Like, it was crazy. And that's crazy to know that you were one of them. And we've all, I feel like that's part of the journey, right? Is those humbling moments, because it's in those moments that we discover like how bad we really want this. That, and God always does that. He will humble us before we're exalted. And so that's just beautiful. And I love it so much. And you did amazing. I can't thank you enough. Put some hearts in the comments, in the chat, if you guys got something out of this. I know that I did. I'm super filled up and excited. I'm ready to do some cold or warm messaging now, because I have been hearing that's working so well, and just making an ask out of myself. And I'm fired up over these next 3 months, because I know so many of you guys are going to be going diamond for the first time. I know we're going to be re-ranking. I know we're going to be ranking up. And when conference comes, it's going to be crazy. So if that isn't a reason to get there, if you have not got your conference ticket yet, you guys need to get your conference ticket. No excuses. You need to get your conference ticket. So excited for everyone. Yeah, Kaitlyn, do you have something else?
I kid you not. I'm wondering what this is from. I don't know what this is from, but I just had a girl randomly text me. I'm ready. So I'm guessing this is a potential distributor, like ready to join. People are just, I don't even know who this chick is. So make sure also you have your influencer application in your bios on TikTok and on Instagram, because one thing that shifted me from going to like little to no influencer applications to like one day I had over 60 was I literally just added in my bio. Like I had the link in there for the longest time, but right above it, add work from home application. You guys, just add work from home application below. And I kid you not, when I started doing that, and then right after I posted a bunch of DT ones, I had 60 in one day. I was like, wow. So just make sure you do that as well too, because that's helped a lot. I'm excited.
I love that. Thank you so much, Kaitlyn. And we're going to have the recording of this for if anybody missed it. If you missed any of this, hopefully you guys were taking notes. But thank you so much for joining us tonight, Kaitlyn. We truly, truly appreciate it. We love you guys so much. We will be back on next Monday, and I'll definitely be back on 6 a.m. tomorrow with you. All right. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.